Hello, I'm Matthew from Ludo-Chrono, and today I'm going to give you an overview of Path of Civilization, a story of humankind. It is a management game for 1 to 5 players, ages 14 and up, and it plays for around 20 minutes per player. So in this game you play, obviously, as a civilization, and you have a civilization board with a population track that allows you to have your maximum of resource increase, and you also have 4 different spots for your technology cards, which generate resources. On the right of your board, you have also a track with different resources that allow you to buy new cards. You try to gain the most victory points over 9 rounds, and you score victory points by advancing your philosophy, by participating in conflicts, in challenges, but also by acquiring wonders and leaders that give you special abilities. And that's the basic gist of the game. So now how do you play a round of Path of Civilization? Well, you play using this sequence here, and it's quite simple as it's simultaneous, and everyone is going to play the same phase at the same time. Once everyone is done playing that phase, you move on to the next phase. First, the A step. You're going to plan your cards, and you have different cards. You have 5 of them, and you're going to place them in those 4 slots. That means that one of your cards is going to go away at the end. So, for example, I might do this, that, and that. So I will remove this one, and it's removed for good. It is removed from the game. Once everyone has done that, you move to phase B. During phase B, you're going to generate cubes by activating the B frames that are full. In the case of your starting cards, you get nothing, but if you play more powerful cards, you may generate more resources. You're limited by your population. As you may notice, you may produce up to 10, but you start from up to 4 resources. In this case, I would produce 2 cubes for wonders, 1 cube for leaders, and 1 cube for war. So I'm going to place those cubes in the balls that match their types, and that's it. When you have done generating those resources, you move to buying stuff. You're going to be able to advance on this track. So there is this track, and you need to spend those resources, those cubes from that ball, if you have them. If you do have them, you spend them by removing them and placing them back in your supply, and you move up the track. If you are the first to move up, you're going to reveal those boon tokens. You choose one of them to trigger, and you trigger it the number of times that's shown, and then you choose one of the boons and you flip it face down, and it's not available for the other players. Now, when a player moves up, they get this boon, and that's it. So that's for the philosophy, and then you move on to wonders. To buy wonders, you have a market here, and you have to pay the price in cubes, and they are going to give you the victory points and the benefits. So in this case, they are instant benefits. So if there are many players that want to buy the same wonder, you're going to look at the priority order that's written on your board. That means that if you have the leftmost symbol out of all of the players who want to buy the same card, you're going to get that card, and the other players may change their mind. So in this case, let's imagine I want to buy this card and no one wants to buy it. I will spend those cubes, place them back in my supply, take it, and then I will also perform the immediate effect and gain those. Now, it gains you victory points. You may have as many wonders as you want, but leaders work the same in the case of buying them. However, if you have a leader, it goes here, and you may have 1 active leader at a time, meaning that if you have another one, it replaces your old leader and it gets into your graveyard. But your leader might trigger some boxes, some B or D boxes. So then you also have a D phase. When you have advance on these tracks, you will produce for your symbols here and there, and that allows you to get points that you will spend for technologies. Now you will move to phase E, and you're going to buy a card, and to buy a card you will simply buy it by paying its cost. So its cost is printed here, so I will spend the resource, and then I also get a benefit which is printed here, so I'm going to get a wonder cube. And then that card is placed here, and then that's almost the end of the round. I look at the events. If there is an event, I will resolve it, and everyone is going to resolve it. If that's done, we move on to the next round and flip new cards for the different markets, and the leaders and wonders are going to increase in power. And then we get our cards back and we will play a new round with a new phase A, and so on and so forth. At the end of the round, you might have a challenge or a conflict. So a challenge is a card on a yellow stand and a conflict on a red stand. The challenges are going to score you points depending on what you have in your tableau, whereas the conflicts will simply allow you to score points if you have the most military strength. For example, in this case, let's imagine I have 2 cubes here. Every single cube is worth 2 points of strength, and then you have your military legacy, which is worth 1 per spot. So I would have 2, 4, and 5. I would have 5 total strength. And then here, white would have only 2 because they have no legacy and they have only 1 cube. Then green has nothing and you have a neutral player which counts as a player. Then I would score points and then you move on to the second player and then third player. You score points and resources that way, and the conflicts escalate in how much they give you points. So you play a total of 9 rounds, and at the end of the 9th round, the last conflict, you're going to score your victory points. You score depending on the cards that you have, depending on how far you got on the philosophy track, depending on your population, depending on the victory points that you have acquired during the game, your leftover cubes, and so on and so forth. And the one with the most points wins. And that's it for Path of Civilization. So this is a game in which you try to arrange your cards to generate the right resources and move up the right tracks and participate in the right activities, and in which you have to optimize your every move. Now, bye-bye, see you on Ludochrono.